I feel like just about every other week I see some new article about the death of the movie theater. For the last 6 years, we've been predicting that movie theaters are about to go extinct, and I don't know if you've been around, but movie theaters are still here. What has convinced us for the last half a decade that movie theaters are about to keel over, and why haven't they? Now, I will not deny the facts. According to Variety, North America lost almost 5,700 movie theaters during COVID, which is terrible. Now, while I believe that's true, I'm here to tell you that I personally don't think that a nationwide panic talking about the extinction of movie theaters as we know it is justified. In this video, I'd like to give a little roadmap of where theaters are and where I think they could be in the future. Before we do that, I'd like to say welcome to all the new subscribers to this channel. We've recently hit a big boom of growth, and I'm just so grateful for all of you being here. Everything I do on this channel I do by myself, so thank you for your patience on new videos and thank you for supporting small art. That being said, let's dive in. There is always some excuse for what's causing low ticket sales at the movie theater. Oh no, streaming is gonna kill the movie theater. Oh no, the pandemic is gonna kill the movie theater. Oh no, inflation is gonna kill the movie theater. Oh no, there's no new movies, it's gonna kill the movie theater. Oh no, we're all on strike, it's gonna kill the movie theater. Oh no, there's no good movies, it's gonna kill the movie theater. Oh no, AI is gonna kill the movie theater. This is potentially a hot take, but I don't think we're gonna see the extinction of the movie theater anytime soon. From 2019 to 2020, the global box office took an 81% drop, and since then, we've been building slowly but surely. If an 81% drop in global box office doesn't kill the movie theater industry, I don't really know what will. That being said, I think that small town cinemas are gonna have to go through some major evolution if they want to stay alive long term. Recently, Danny McBride gave an interview with The Hollywood Reporter where they asked him what Hollywood gets wrong about the movies it chooses to make. Danny McBride is a very credited actor, writer, and director, and if you don't know who he is, think of any R-rated comedy. Now think if that movie has a character you cannot stand. It's probably Danny McBride. Danny has a really interesting perspective on these topics because he's lived in and done all of his production work in Charleston, South Carolina for the last 8 years, completely removing himself from the Hollywood bubble. McBride said, quote, "In some regard, it's not about finding what the audience wants to see, it's about reestablishing why it's important to go to the movies in the first place. In LA or New York, you still have these badass movie theaters that have state-of-the-art sound and screens. I'll buy a ticket for a theater around here and it feels like you're in a halfway house. There'll be movies where I'll go in, see what screen it's on, and walk right out because I know that the speaker hums or there's a smell in there. In these suburban towns, they built all these big 16-screen megaplexes in the late 90s, and now those places feel like relics of a bygone era. There's 6 movies playing in there. It feels like you're in the fall of Rome. Even if what Hollywood is making is good, it's hard to convince people to not watch it in the comfort of their own home and their massive TV set, when they might go and spend all this money for 30 minutes of commercials and the projectionist forgetting to turn the lights off." Let's just stew in that for a minute because he kind of hit the nail right on the head. I think a lot of the public's opinion on the movie theater industry is blamed on studios making bad movies. And don't get me wrong, they've made some stinkers. But let's not pretend that 2025 and 2024 haven't had some great movies in the theater. The problem is, movie theaters are not worth the risk anymore. Let me explain. In 2014, the average movie theater ticket price was $8.17. You could walk into the movie theater with a $10 bill and see movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, The Winter Soldier, Interstellar, Big Hero 6, The Lego Movie. If a movie I'm not completely sold on comes to theaters, my risk factor is about $10. Now, for me and one other person to go to the movie theater on a Friday night, we could easily spend $40 before concessions for a movie that, statistically speaking, isn't gonna be great. And even if the movie turns out to be great, I guarantee you my experience is gonna hinder my enjoyment of it. I paid full price to see Superman in theaters, and I loved it. But in the theater right next to us, there was a showing of F1 that was so loud, you could hear the entire movie clear as day. To illustrate to you what my experience was, I've put together a brief simulation, so please enjoy.
If you are just 1 picometer off, you will have a black hole where Earth used to be. And every time you enter or exit, you risk tearing a hole in the fabric of reality.
You're kidding.
the type of reckless science Lex Luthor specializes in.
Some things that seem really small, like another movie being too loud, or your recliner seat not working, or the aspect ratio just being just off on the movie, can greatly impact your experience and your opinion on a film. And the last thing I want you to think is that theater employees are who to blame for this. 8 out of 10 times, theater employees are just underpaid high schoolers who are trying their best. And yeah, some of them could try a little harder, but that's literally every service industry. I think that if small town movie theaters don't figure out how to make the viewing experience worth the price again, they might not make it. What I think no one talks about is how the real thing that ruins a movie experience is the other movie goers. Theater etiquette is at an ATL. That's all-time low, not Atlanta Airport. If I go see a movie and the screen isn't huge and the speaker system isn't amazing, I can do my best to look past that to see a really great movie. But if I'm sitting next to you in the theater and you're on your phone the whole time, talking to the person next to you at full volume, or smacking lip with your boo thing, we're gonna have a problem. The amount of times that the most negative thing I have to say about a theater experience was related to someone else seeing the movie is absolutely insane. Movie theaters are one of the last third spaces we have left, somewhere to gather in community outside of our homes and work. But if we devalue the shared experience of viewing art together to the point where it's not even an option anymore, we're going to become shut-in consumers that are forced into a world of late-stage capitalism. Do you remember that group of people you saw Endgame with? How about cheering when The Force Awakens title screen came on, because it was the first time Star Wars was in the theater in 10 years? At the end of the day, the people that you brought to see Across the Spider-Verse, they're with you for life. Do it for them. And just when we thought movie theaters were dead in 2025, one movie came out. A movie I would describe as one of the hardest movies to sell to your parents based on the title alone. K-pop Demon Hunters. Seth Rogen recently gave this really great interview with Howard Stern where he said that every time we think Hollywood is dead, it only takes one movie to revive it.
That's always been a thought that Hollywood has, you know? In like the 50s, people were like, Hollywood's dead.
Yeah.
The magic of Hollywood, I think, is one movie, one weekend can change the entire outlook of the entire industry. And that is, I think, also like what's so frustrating about Hollywood and what is alluring about these delusions of grandeur, especially if you run a movie studio, is that you think you might be the person to course correct all of the Hollywood.
Netflix released K-pop Demon Hunters in June 2025 after buying full rights from Sony Pictures Animation. They bought the film for $125 million to compensate the movie's $100 million budget. For Sony, this meant they could wipe their hands clean of the movie and walk away with a cold $25 million. Not a bad deal. Little did they know, about a month later, it would become the most watched Netflix movie in the history of the platform, bringing in 236 million viewers. I'm not here to give a full review, but this is not even arguably one of the best movies of the year, and it deserves all of the praise. But isn't a Netflix movie performing well bad for the movie theaters? You would think that, wouldn't you? K-pop Demon Hunters was so successful on Netflix, it was put in theaters for a special sing-along version. After being distributed to 1,700 theaters across the country, it came out at the top of the box office for the weekend, making $18 million. Re-releases and special events have proven their weight in the box office. The Hamilton theater release brought in a cold $10 million for Disney in one weekend. Before you leave a nasty comment, I'm not saying that the future of movie theaters is never trying anything new again. Heaven knows we're trapped in a world of remakes and sequels that no one actually wants. What I am saying is that if movie theaters are going to survive long term, we need to become more okay with new stuff being mixed with anniversary screenings, live events, and more. Hollywood has the ability to create special events. Look at the Minecraft movie or Barbenheimer. But these cultural phenomenons are so far and few between that it's not a sustainable business model to depend on them. There will always be an audience like me who wants to see the new Marvel, Disney, or Star Wars movie. But the quality and output of these studios has never been more questionable, and so movie theaters can't fully depend on good movies. The movie theater experience is not dead. People still yearn for community and joint experiences. It's a human condition that will never go away. So in that regard, I don't think the movie theater will ever completely disappear. But if local movie theaters can up their game and not be afraid to operate as a community space, they could live and not just survive. But that's enough for me. I want to hear from you. Are we going to see the death of the movie theater, or is it all just a conspiracy to get us to subscribe to streaming services? Drop a comment down below, subscribe for more content like this, and make sure you send this video to a friend that you think would enjoy. Thank you so much once again to all the new subscribers. I'm so happy you're here and can't wait for the future of the channel. I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye!